Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Golem F. Michael Fletcher, alongside the guys Anthony Foyer and Michael Bullock. We do apologize for the late start. We just kind of needed it to get ourselves all the ducks in a row, as they would say, and we are just about ready to go. So, uh, normally we would start with SmackDown Live, then to be followed by AEW Rampage. However, Rampage started earlier tonight, so AEW gets the top bill. AEW will start it off, then followed by SmackDown Live, and then we got not one but two games of the Celtics chat, and batten down the hatches because a certain panelist in the room is not happy and is really fired up, and look out. That's all I'm just going to say. I do want to warn that panelist, please refrain from any graphic language, no F-bombs. Try to be as PG as possible. I'll even give you PG-13. If you want to go R, fine. But please do not go overboard with that rant. That's all I'm asking. Everything else is free reign. You can go. But just please be mindful, for us, for the guys, and more importantly for the viewers, because sometimes we do have children that listen to this show. So just please be mindful of your rant here tonight. That's all I'm saying. All right. With that said, let's start off with AEW Rampage, which was we started out with a 6-man tag team fight, as it was the Best Friends and Bandito going up against Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta of the Blackpool Combat Club. Blackpool Combat Club winning the match in 9 minutes and 25 seconds. All right, solid opener, about 2.5 to 3. A good match. Could have been a little better in certain areas. I thought the picture-in-picture kind of hurt it a little bit. Not by much, but hurt it a little bit. But still, pretty good matchup. Really nothing more to say. And Anthony, it's yours.
All right. The BCC winning was predictable, but that didn't take away from how enjoyable this was to watch. All 6 guys had their own moments throughout the match. They should revisit the feud between the Best Friends and Wheeler Yuta. We never got closure on that. You could see that Chuck Taylor did almost nothing to help Claudio get him up for that suplex. That was pure power from the Swiss Superman to get him up. Mox seems so much more comfortable as a heel. He never really acted like a babyface when he was one, so this is a good fit. This is a lot like that Dean Ambrose that we saw in the Shield. And the triple dive from the Best Friends and Bandito was fun. We even got the legendary got to give the people what they want, and you know how much I love that. So I'll give it 3 stars for the effort there, MF. So there isn't much more to say on that. 3 stars for me. Solid opener for this Rampage here tonight. So not much more to say. Phenom Michael Bullock, fresh off another one of our legendary SmackDown chats as always. Hopefully you've had some time enough to cool off and calm down, and let's get your thoughts on all this.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, this was a good match. The BCC going over was the right outcome, because obviously you want to give them momentum going into their Anarchy in the arena match against the Elite, which we all think is going to steal the damn show at Double or Nothing. Let's not kid ourselves on that. So 3 stars for me. Let's move on, Fletch.
All right. Then next up we had was a series of matches that was done by Jay Cargill. Jay Cargill winning both matches in less than a minute. One match was 35 seconds. The other match was 30 seconds. Yeah. So it was nothing more to say. So we're just going to leave that as where it was. Then next up that we had after that was Billy Gunn, or Daddy Ass, and the Acclaim. They went up against the Varsity Athletes, and it was the Acclaim and Daddy Ass winning in 7 minutes and 45 seconds. So, Anthony, it's yours.
2.5, 2 3/4. Basic trios match. AEW has found its pattern with bouts like these, so most of them follow the same basic outline. Baby faces start out hot, heels gain the upper hand, and then the baby faces rally. The only thing that ever changes is which team gets the win in the end. This time, the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass were the ones with their hands raised at the end of the match, thanks to a mic drop from Max Caster. It's so weird how Billy Gunn doesn't look that big until you see him standing next to somebody else and notice how much larger he is than most people. It's like an optical illusion. And the varsity athletes are booked so differently in Ring of Honor, which is odd because it's the same guy, Tony Khan, running both companies. So all there is to say on that, 2.5, 2 3/4. I think the Acclaimed are on their way to a possible trios title showdown with the House of Black at Double or Nothing with the way that's been going lately. So that has potential. So there isn't much more to say on this. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this 6-man?
Yeah, 2.5 stars. I'm with you on this. Yeah, I mean, it definitely could have been better, but it is what it is. So I'm not gonna waste any more time on this. So it is your Sledge.
All right, and then the last fight on the AEW Rampage show, Dustin Rhodes going one-on-one with Bishop Khan with Prince Nana in his corner. And it was the natural Dustin Rhodes winning the match in 8 minutes and 50 seconds. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give this about another 2.5 star match. I mean, a fine match to close it out. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It's your Sledge.
Yeah, status quo main event. Nothing too crazy to talk about. Maybe 2.25. Anthony, it's yours.
Another 2.5, 2 3/4. Solid singles match between a veteran and a rising star. Bishop Khan looked good and did a great job selling all of Dustin Rhodes' big moves. After the Naturals scored the win, Brian Cage and Swerve Strickland attacked him from behind. It brought out Keith Lee to make the save. After he had a little bit of success, Keith Lee fell after taking a chair shot to the back. The show ended with the Mogul Embassy standing tall. I gotta tell you guys, Bishop Khan looks more like an action figure than anyone else in AEW. His physique is so defined that it almost looks fake. And Dustin Rhodes was thrown into the corner, and he ended up hitting the cameraman. It seemed like a planned impact, but it's hard to tell sometimes. So another 2.5, 2 3/4 MF overall review time.
It was all right. I'm not going to say it was the best show in the world. I mean, this was maybe 6 out of 10 at best. I mean, the Jay Cargill storyline doesn't really do anything for me. The matches were solid to good. I'm not going to say it went beyond that. Look, I kind of feel like Rampage it's slowly becoming a transitional show. There's nothing amazing about it. There's nothing that really. It feels like the NXT of AEW right now.
Sunday Night
And
Heat.
now, yeah, because now you're getting Collision very soon. That's probably going to be the equivalent of Smackdown, where AEW Dynamite will be the Monday Night Raw, the flagship show. Collision will be the Smackdown, and then you're going to have Rampage that's literally going to become no more than Sunday Night Heat, main event, one of these shows. As a matter of fact, the show now is going to be relegated because of the fact that they're going to be eliminating Dark and Dark Elevation. They've already said they're getting rid of those 2 shows. So for AEW fans, you got your Raw and SmackDown coming up, which is going to be Dynamite and Collision. So those are going to be your 2 big shows. And then Rampage is going to be backburnered. So I'm starting to feel like we might have to change. Not yet, but once Collision starts, I am actually thinking of getting rid of Rampage, adding Collision, and actually moving the show from Friday nights to Saturday nights when we start. But that's all going to be very soon. I am working parameters on everything. So Cerebral Smack Talk might be moving very soon. Just saying. But for now, 6, Anthony, go.
If that's the case, MF, I think we should move the NFL show to Friday.
Well, like I said, I'm creating parameters now. Like I said, I'm setting things up, and I'll have everything laid out very soon.
Okay, all right, very good. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm right there with you, MF. This was a 6 out of 10. There were a couple of things that did come out of this that we did not address. Those 2 wins by Jade Cargill took her record to 59-0, and Taya Valkyrie will now be will be challenging Jade Cargill for the TBS championship at Double or Nothing. So there actually is a caveat here. Jade Cargill will be looking for her 60th win, while Taya Valkyrie stands in her way of win number 60. So who knows? Maybe that could be where the run ends for Jade Cargill. Very possible. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. The other big thing that came out of it was we saw a segment with Chris Jericho challenging Adam Cole to an unsanctioned match at Double or Nothing, and also ripped up the legal agreement that kept Adam Cole out of the building. So Adam Cole came through the crowd and fought him on the stage. So we're definitely going to be getting an unsanctioned match. And MF, we know about unsanctioned matches now, don't we?
Yeah, unsanctioned matches, basically anything goes. And the thing is, normally when you get an unsanctioned match, that means that wrestling promotion is wiping their hands clean of this one. If anything goes wrong, if something happens to you, it's not on our watch. You're on your own. Any legal stuff, any injuries that you occur on that, you can't sue us. You're on your own. There's nothing we're going to do. We wipe our hands clean on this one. And on top of that, unsanctioned matches does not go to your personal record. We noticed that very evidently in AEW. They are very accurate about that. There was a couple of matches that never went on personal records where normally those are quote unquote sanctioned matches. So yeah, normally unsanctioned fights normally means the end of a rivalry or the end of a storyline more than anything else. So we'll see.
Yeah, very much so. And of course, when you think unsanctioned matches, you cannot help but think about the match that wrote the book on that stipulation. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, SummerSlam 2002.
But if you're going to go AEW, Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker. That was quite an unsanctioned fight. Yes, very well.
One of the greatest women's matches in AEW history. So,
agreed.
If not the greatest. So, but anywho, 6 out of 10. Fight of the night was the BCC against the Best Friends and Beretta, and main event was solid, and the 6-man was all right, and of course you had the Cargill stuff, but 59-0. Remember that, going for 60. Jade Cargill has Taya Valkyrie standing in her way, and that could be the night where Jade Cargill finally loses. So we'll wait and see. But we'll talk about that next week when we preview Double or Nothing. We got a big show next Friday night, so We'll lay the groundwork for that in a little bit at the end of the show for future content. But for right now, it's a 6, maybe 6.5 for me. Michael Bullock, I take this home, and then we'll get into Friday Night Smackdown from the University of South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. 6 out of 10 for this one. I mean, you had some all right matches. I mean, yeah, the Jade Cargill 2 matches. I mean, it really doesn't do anything for me. I'm sorry. I mean, and yeah, I mean, yes, now we're gonna get those 2, her and Taya Valkyrie at Double or Nothing for the TBS Championship, and I really hope this is the moment that Jade Cargill's undefeated run ends. But I mean, I have to remind you, we've seen crazier things happen before. They could do the impossible and put Jade Cargill over again, But I just don't see that happening. I don't see it. But like I said, we'll wait and see. So let's get into Friday Night SmackDown.
Yes, indeed. So we're gonna start it out with a promo segment by the Bloodline, interrupted by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And wow, fun opener, really good. Um, Look, I gotta say it, man. You can see there are legitimate cracks in the Bloodline, and it's starting to swell. So um, I loved it. I love the story. This is by far the best storyline in WWE today. And anytime Roman Reigns is in the building, it's about to get good, and it did. Um, there's really nothing more to add here. It was incredible. Yeah. So I got nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, in unbelievable, incredible way to start the show.
Absolutely. This whole thing was more great stuff for Roman Reigns, who seems content to take out the frustration on his cousins, who are growing more visibly angry themselves with every passing tongue lashing. Things are about to boil over in the Bloodline, with Jimmy and Jay destined to stand up for themselves against their megalomaniacal cousin. Whether it comes at Night of Champions or later remains to be seen, but it is growing more and more apparent that the self-proclaimed ones are maybe more responsible for the downfall of Roman Reigns' dominance than any challenger that has ever stepped up to the tribal chief. Reigns does the small things so well. The annoyed look on his face when Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens made their way into the arena reflected just how tired of dealing with the two of them he actually is at this point. So good and so relatable. And Roman told Sami, I only have one regret, and that one regret is wasting my life on you. And Sami responded, I have one regret too, and that's not blasting you with that chair sooner. And then Sami taunted the tribal chief, saying, you're just not as good as us. And for that matter, you're not as good as the Usos either. And then that's when the Usos attacked Sami and KO, leaving them laying on the floor outside of the ring. So another explosive start in what is hands down the best storyline in WWE today that keeps on rolling. And there isn't much more to say on this. So Michael Bullock, come on in, Phenom. We talked about this during our SmackDown chat, and I'll tell you what, this definitely lived up to the hype. And what we saw tonight, this was the epitome and was an absolutely perfect face-to-face. Bullock, are you there? I don't know if he might have stepped away or something, but
Either he stepped away or he just forgot to unmute his mic.
That's possible.
Probably stepped away. All right, so until we get Bullock back, we'll just keep on moving here. So next thing that we had was the first match of the night, which was the Brawling Brutes, Rich Holland and Butch, and they actually went up against a team that's made their SmackDown debut, in-ring debut, Elton Prince, Kit Wilson, Pretty Deadly, formerly of NXT, and it was Pretty Deadly winning the match in 8 minutes and 11 seconds. So, Anthony, it's yours.
So I'll tell you what, Pretty Deadly, Elton Prince and Kit Wilson were weekly highlights on NXT, and now that they are members of the SmackDown roster, will look to connect with an audience, beginning with tonight's win over the Brawling Brutes, Butch and Rich Holland. The win was not without trickery, including a quality fake-out by Elton Prince, but it was a great introduction to a tag team that has proven an ability to back up their superb character work with quality in-ring performance. There are not many better options to put them in the ring with than Butch and Holland, who have become workhorses for WWE as part of the Brawling Brutes. Booking them to feud with that faction, polar opposites of the tawny Pretty Boys, was the right call. And Chef Elton and Chef Kit introduced the ingredients that go into Pretty Deadly, concluding with themselves, obviously. Sheamus joined Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on commentary. Butch exploded into the match off a hot tag and took out both Prince and Wilson en route to a nice near fall. Prince pretended to be tied up in the ropes, waited for the referee to be distracted by Butch, and then joined Wilson in delivering spilt milk to secure the chicanery-filled win. 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. And no surprise about the outcome. You know, during our SmackDown chat at first, Michael Bullock deemed this as an upset, and I'm like, no, Bullock. Pretty Deadly making their in-ring debut. Did you really think they were going to have them lose? I didn't. So, this is definite. I would not consider this an upset by any stretch. So, big first win for Pretty Deadly, and who knows? Maybe sometime by the end of this year or later this year or maybe even next year, MF, I could definitely see if they ever split the tag team titles and we get the SmackDown Tag Team Championships back exclusively, Pretty Deadly will be a major player in that division. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day they become SmackDown Tag Team Champions if they split the belts, which I'm hoping they do soon enough. So, but we'll see about it. So 2.5, 2 3/4. Michael Bullock, if you're back in, come on in. Okay, there he is. You missed the opening. We just need your thoughts on the opening segment. You know, the face to face and
oh yeah,
and the tag team and Pretty Deadly winning in their debut match on SmackDown against the Brawling Brutes.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the segment was pretty good. I mean, it basically continues the tension with the bloodline, especially with the Usos, and yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see what goes down when the titles are on the line at Night of Champions. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. What was the time of the fall?
Time of the fall was
for the tag team match.
Yeah, 8-11.
All right, yeah, I'll give it about 2.5 stars, and yeah, I mean, a good statement win for Pretty Deadly in their first matchup on the main roster to beat two quality guys like Ridge Holland and Butch from the Brawling Brutes. That's definitely a statement win, and yeah, I mean, if they do get the SmackDown Tag Team titles back exclusively on SmackDown, maybe I could see Pretty Deadly being a legitimate candidate to become the next champs, but we'll wait and see. But a good first impression by Pretty Deadly, so nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. Yeah, and then the next thing that we did have, it was Asuka going one-on-one with Zelina Vega, and Asuka winning the match in 6.5 minutes. Anthony Florio. Actually, no. It goes to Michael Bullock. So, Bullock, Asuka winning the match in 6.5 minutes.
2 2.25 on this one. I mean, it's a good way to build Asuka, especially as she as of course you guys heard that she's going to be facing Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title at Night of Champions, so it gives her some momentum, but she wouldn't let go of the hold, and then Bianca Belair comes out, and then Bianca gets somewhat missed it, not all the way, not like a couple of weeks, or last week I should say, but she got a little bit of it, so I don't know, guys. I got this funny feeling that maybe this is where Asuka goes over here. I don't know. I think WWE. I mean, I don't know. We'll wait and see. But it's yours, Fletch. But I don't know about you, but I got this funny feeling this is where Bianca Belair her run ends at Night of Champions. But I could be wrong.
I think it's going to be one of those situations where I believe that Bianca, I think she's going to make a mistake. I think what it is Asuka's trying to go there, and I do believe that Asuka is going to make that mistake. She's going to think about trying to go for the miss, and I think that's going to be the downfall. Because I do believe that when this is all said and done, it's going to go to the way of Bianca Belair. So I think Bianca's going to successfully defend the title, me personally. Because I think Asuka's going to try to go to the well one too many times. And I think she's got that scouted now. So there's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, I give it to you.
Yeah. 2.5 stars for me. The match was a nice showcase for Zelina Vega and a reminder of how dangerous Asuka is, with a moveset that is seemingly endless. Belair looked more serious and on edge than at any point in her title reign, putting over how Asuka's mind games have affected her. Their match at Night of Champions should be one of the more interesting, harder hitting, and better on the card, if all goes right. Zelina Vega cut a pre-match promo in which she said she was ready for Asuka and wanted to prove she could hang with the top competitors in the women's division. Vega fought back and delivered a Meteora for a close 2 count. A series of pin attempt reversals gave way to Asuka trapping Vega and forcing a submission. Belair made the save and just barely dodged the blue mist. A near miss for the Empress of Tomorrow as she prepares to dethrone the EST in Jeddah. So solid 2.5 for me, and not much more to say on that. So MF, let's continue on.
Yeah, all right. So with that said, we do indeed move on. It was the Grayson Waller effect. Yeah, Grayson Waller promo segment with his guest, the phenomenal AJ Styles. All right, it was status quo. I don't think it was really much for us to say. They did an all right job. It could have been a little better, but I don't think the fans really cared about it. But AJ now, looking forward to his championship fight with Seth Rollins at Night of Champions. And, there are some people that are saying that there's a chance that AJ might actually win this. Now, this would be a major shocker out of nowhere that, there's been some concerns that because with Rollins dipping his toe into Hollywood and doing some, movie and some other commitments that they're now second guessing about maybe putting the belt on Rollins and that they actually might strap AJ Styles as the next World Heavyweight Champion. Now, that could just be just a lot of talking heads, just talking, trying to stir a little whatever, but it needs to be addressed. It needs to be thought of. Is it possible that a SmackDown star could be walking away with the heavyweight championship of the world where the belt was initially thought to be just exclusively to Monday Night Raw? We'll see. So, Florio, what do you think about the promo or the Grayson Waller effect?
A tense stare down. I'll tell you what, a tense stare down resulted, teasing a future program between the two. And if that's the case, it's absolutely the right call. Grayson Waller can benefit from working with AJ Styles in ways he never could in an extended stint in developmental. Put them in the ring, let them learn alongside one of the greatest to ever do it, and reap the rewards. It's a simple formula for success, and it would behoove WWE to follow it. Waller was rather subdued, all things considered, as he introduced the audience and guest Styles to the show. AJ said of the hiatus he was forced into when he broke his ankle last December, it was the longest time I've ever been out of the ring. Styles said of his desire to win the World Heavyweight Championship, I want it more than the air that I breathe. And Styles called out Rollins for being on a movie set and questioned whether he was staying ready because he is. And then Waller taunted the Phenomenal One to close out the segment, saying he cannot wait until Mike Rome announces Seth Rollins as the winner and new World Heavyweight Champion, which that could happen. It could. And now, you bring up, we bring up the idea about AJ possibly winning the title at Night of Champions. This could be a very realistic possibility. And here's something. Here's a thought I just had, guys. This is a possible scenario here. Let's say AJ does win the title. You would have to put him on Raw. You'd have to trade him to Raw. Perhaps SmackDown gets a big star from Raw in return. Maybe a certain American Nightmare, maybe. Think about it.
Yeah, that would open the door for it. I would say yes.
So if AJ wins the title, you can easily trade him to Raw because that title is supposed to be exclusive to Raw. And then maybe if you want to do big name for big name, you could possibly trade Cody to SmackDown, and then Cody can pick up the story with Roman and maybe finish the story with Roman. So think about that for a minute. But we'll have to wait and see. And yes, Seth Rollins is filming a movie right now, and it's because of that he will not be on Monday. It's been confirmed he will not be at Raw Monday night in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So that's all there is to say on that with Seth Rollins. So we might have to start thinking about AJ possibly walking out of Saudi Arabia as the World Heavyweight Champion. So, and if it means we get AJ back on Raw, hey, I'm good with it. Perhaps the OC come with him in a package deal. Or you could possibly leave the Good Brothers and Michin on SmackDown and have AJ exclusively on Raw. I don't know. But if they trade him to Raw because he's the World Heavyweight Champion, because that title's supposed to be exclusive to Raw because of that caveat Papa H laid down when he unveiled the belt, saying that wherever Roman ended up going to, he would stay there and the World Heavyweight title would be exclusive to the other brands. So if AJ wins the title, that will most likely mean the Phenomenal One comes back to Raw. And if we lose Cody, that would suck. But hey, as long as we have a full-time World Heavyweight Champion on the Red brand, I don't care who it is. I'm good with it. So, and if it's AJ Styles, hey, I'm for it. I'm for it. And then it's a win-win. It would be a win-win in a sense, because then you would have to trade a big name. Maybe that big name would be Cody. Send Cody to SmackDown, and then you can have Cody rekindle the feud with Roman, and then you could easily use that to finish the story. He could still win the Money in the Bank. So we'll have to wait and find out. So definitely a lot to think about. My gut's still telling me Rollins wins, but now all of a sudden I would not be surprised or mad if AJ wins. I would not. So as long as there's a World Heavyweight Champion on Raw, while Roman still holds those titles hostage, I'm fine with it. If it's Seth, exactly as I thought it would be. If it's AJ, it's a surprise, and it's a welcome surprise. So a lot to think about. And we'll talk about that next week as well on our loaded Cerebral Smack Talk next week. But for right now, Michael Bullock, great, solid segment here with Grayson Waller and AJ Styles. And now we have to start thinking about, what if AJ Styles walks out of Saudi Arabia as the World Heavyweight Champion? He does that. He could go to Raw, and who knows? There could be a trade involved, and that trade could send Cody to SmackDown, where he would have another chance to finish the story, hopefully.
Yeah, that I could definitely see that happening. I could. But we'll have to wait and see, like you guys said. I mean, like you said, it's all talk, but we'll see. There's only one way we can find out, and that's, of course, when Rollins and Styles get in the ring at Night of Champions. So we'll see what happens. But a fine segment here. I mean, I thought that, there's really nothing more to say on it, so it is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, so like we said, there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of things that are going on, so it's going to be very interesting to watch, so we'll get into that. Next up we had was the Street Profits. They went up against the unique tag team of Rick Boogs and L.A. Knight. And when it was all said and done, it was the Street Profits winning the match in 3 minutes and 49 seconds. No big surprise after the match. LA Knight turns on Rick Boogs and lays him out. So it wasn't really anything it was all right. I mean, there's really nothing more to add. Then we had Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Oh, by the way, the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And they went up against two members from NXT. Valentina Feroz and Ulicia Leon. And it was the reigning champions. winning the match in 1:14. However, there was a bomb that did get dropped after the match. It was announced that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez was forced to relinquish and surrender the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Unfortunately, Liv did indeed get hurt, and it was severe enough that she will have to miss time, a decent amount of time. Therefore, the belts are now held up. On 2 weeks from now, on Monday Night Raw, there will be a fatal four-way between Bayley and Io Sky, because Bayley revealed that Dakota Kai also got hurt and she will not be able to go. So Io is in. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Also in the match, it will also be Isla Dawn and Alba Fire.
No. Alba and Nyla are not in this match.
Oh, all right.
It's Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville and Raquel Rodriguez and a mystery partner.
And actually the partner of Raquel's choosing. Now the question becomes, who does Raquel select? Who's the one that gets picked? Now there's some people are taking and saying, well, you haven't used her in a long time. Maybe she's healthy. Is this where Aaliyah comes back? I know. I just perked Florio's ears. Florio's probably like, wait, what? Did you just say who I think you just said, Fletcher? Yes, her.
I wouldn't mind it.
She's a former, remember, they won the tag titles before.
Yes.
They won it.
Last summer.
Last summer. They shocked the world.
They won that tournament.
So why not? But we'll see. So, all right. So we'll just move on along. Next up, and actually, as a matter of fact, this is the main event of the evening, boys. The LWO, as it was Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar going up against the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, winners of the bout. 14 minutes, 48 seconds. The LWO, they get a win. Their first win as a group. I'm pumped. So happy for the win. Yes, I know. Don't forget the one in Puerto Rico. I know. That was one thing. But for Santos and for Rey, this is huge. Big win for them. Yes, there was a little bit of help from Sammy and Kevin Owens. They kind of did get involved, but at the end of the day, Anthony Florio, fight of the night, and a big win for the LWO.
Yes, indeed. With their place at the table disintegrating before their very eyes, the Usos look to remain a part of the bloodline with a win over the LWO's Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar in tonight's main event. They were not successful through no fault of their own. Jimmy and Jay turned in a great performance, working a fast-paced, fantastic wrestling match with Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio that had fans biting on near falls all the way through to the finish. A finish that saw Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens interfere, leading to Escobar and Mysterio getting the win. Backstage, a disgusted Roman Reigns said something to Solo Sikoa, likely teasing punishment of some sort for the twins and advancing the story of dissension within the ranks. In reality, there is a real question to be asked as to why the Usos are always there to ensure Roman Reigns is victorious, but the tribal chief cannot afford his cousins the same luxury. It may be raised in the coming weeks as tensions mount and the bloodline becomes closer to full-on dysfunction. Michael Cole told Wade Barrett, "This is the first time I've ever heard you admit that," and this is a quote, that Roman Reigns may be abusing a member of his family. Cole also called out Roman for watching from the comfort of his locker room, despite Paul Heyman telling the Usos he was busy doing all of the work he had to do for next week. Jay just narrowly saved Jimmy during a near fall, keeping the hopes of a win alive. Jimmy cut off a 619 with a super kick, and Jay added the top rope splash, but Ray kicked out at 2 in a great near fall. And then Kevin Owens provided the distraction, Sami Zayn shoved Jey Uso from the top rope, and Escobar and Rey scored the big win. The first real significant, probably it's without a doubt the biggest win for the LWO since they came on the scene about a month and a half ago, or right around. I think it was on that WrestleMania SmackDown when this whole thing came together. So just before Rey went into the Hall of Fame. So, but anyways, 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star. Overall, it was a 4-star, but I'm going to bump it down to about 3.5 to 3 3/4 because of the little bit of overbooking there. But it was still a very, very good match. No surprise, this was the fight of the night. I knew it would be. So there isn't much more to say. Michael Bullock, in the immortal words of a show that you and Mary Ellen love very much, I Love Lucy. The Usos, they got some explaining to do to the tribal chief. Uh-oh.
Yeah, 3.5 stars. Yeah, a nice big win for the LWO, and yeah, the Usos definitely got a lot of explaining to do. I mean, Roman's probably a very pissed off tribal chief, and when you piss off the tribal chief, I would not want to be in the same locker room with him. So, yeah, there's really. Yeah, so there's really nothing more to say except Fletch. I guess we could say when you piss off the tribal chief, bad things I think are intending to happen, and I could definitely smell it coming.
Yeah, there's really nothing more to add. That was pretty interesting to say. So, yeah, so we're gonna move right on along, and actually, it's overall review time, and this was a great main event. 3.5 stars for me as well. They did an incredible job with it. So, yeah, nothing more to add. So, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you quickly. Your overall thoughts on SmackDown Live tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was a good show. I mean, I'll give it about maybe 7. I mean, there were some matches I thought they definitely could have been better, but there definitely still was some build heading into the Night of Champions premium live event. But overall, 7 out of 10. It's yours, Fletch.
It was a 7 out of 10. I totally agree with your thoughts and sentiments. I thought they did a really good job with the way that they were handling the body of work and just the action itself. To me, I really got nothing more to add. So, Anthony, your thoughts?
MF, there was a ton to like in regard to the Bloodline storyline and the mounting issues that exist between its members. And with that particular program bookending the broadcast, it would be easy to issue a rating heavily influenced by that particular story. But there was more to this broadcast than that, though. We saw AJ Styles treated like a major star as 2 potential new programs were introduced in the form of not only Grayson Waller, but what about Karrion Kross, guys?
Yeah.
Speaking of the loudmouth Aussie, he was just one of several NXT stars to make their presence felt, joined by Pretty Deadly and the women's tag team champions Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Throw in Sheamus emerging as the next challenger for Austin Theory, giving us a break from the tiresome pairing of the United States Heavyweight Champion and Bobby Lashley, and you have a show that did more to lay the foundation for what is to come. That has been a theme of WWE programming over the last month, particularly since the draft. And that's not a bad thing, especially when introducing new talent from NXT. There is a fine line, though, between patience and demanding the audience to hang in there for too long. Recognizing that line and making sure not to venture too far over it will be key for Papa H and the creative team. For now, though, there is plenty to like about what he is setting up. And look what you got on this show next week, MF. Taped show, mind you, because this was a double taping tonight because, you know, they got to be in Saudi Arabia next week. So that's why next week's SmackDown will be a tape show instead. MF, you're getting AJ Styles versus Karrion Kross. Think about that. You're also getting Austin Theory versus Sheamus for the United States Heavyweight Championship on top of that. And you're also going to get another segment. You're going to get the Kevin Owens show with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa as the guests. The Sammy and Kevin show. Get ready for that. Um, and I think they announced a couple other things. Oh yeah, Raquel Rodriguez and her the partner of her choosing will go up against Bailey and Io Sky next week as well. And I don't remember what else was announced, but those were the big ones for next week. So get ready for what's going to be a loaded, albeit taped show, but it'll be a loaded show next week for the go home. Once again in Columbia, South Carolina. So 7.5 is my rating. So MF, now it's time for us to do something we don't really like to do on this show, and that is the nasty business, if you know what I mean.
All right, and we'll start out with the Celtics chat. We were supposed to do game one and game two. So we're just gonna lump it together. But it seems like it's a trend. So in game one of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Miami Heat beat the Boston Celtics 123-116. That was led by Jimmy Butler as he put 35 points in that game. Jason Tatum had 30 in his performance as well. And it was really a stretch down the line where Boston was limited by the three-point shot, only shooting 29 times, only making 10 of them. It seemed like Boston lived by the three. They died by the three, where the game itself was evenly matched the whole way through. But when the going got tough, when the moment came, it was literally a third quarter where the Miami Heat at one point, even though they won the quarter 46-25, there was a moment in that game where they closed on a 33-10 run in the third quarter alone that slammed the door and that's how they beat Boston in game number one. And for tonight, game two of that series, the Miami Heat beats the Boston Celtics, sweeping the two games at TD Garden. 111-105 was the final score. This time around, it was Bam Adebayo. Once again, Jimmy Butler leading the way with 27 points and 8 rebounds and 6 assists. But tonight's star of the game, that you can say for the Miami Heat, was Caleb Martin. 25 points in the game, where normally in the first game he only averaged 15 points. Tonight he had a breakout performance in 32 minutes, 25 points with 4 rebounds in the game. That was an incredible performance by him. And then of course you had Bam Adebayo almost having a triple-double, 22 points with 17 rebounds in the game for the Boston Celtics. It was Jason Tatum, 34 points with 13 rebounds in the game, getting a double-double. However, what really was alarming and having the Celtics almost in a freak-out mode, first 3 quarters, 29 points for Jason Tatum. The fourth quarter alone, 5 points in the fourth. Then, what also started it was that there was a little altercation on the court between Jimmy Butler and I think it was Williams that got into it with them. It was Robert Williams and Jimmy Butler kind of got face-to-face, eye-to-eye, nose-to-nose, and double texts were thrown, but that triggered Jimmy Butler. He went nuts. He went off, and down goes the Celtics again. Second night, second time. Butler gets going. He explodes out of the gate, having not the best performance, but then something triggered. He flipped the switch, and Jimmy freaking Butler, the Butler did it again. Stuck it to the C's. They're now up 2-0 in this Eastern Conference final battle. The scene shifts to Miami, and the game 3 will be Sunday night in Miami. And now it is indeed a must win for the Boston Celtics. You do not want to go down 0-3. You have to at least win both these games to at least have a legit shot at the NBA Finals. Michael Bullock, I mean, look, Boston has played good. They've played great in certain moments. They played great for 3 quarters, but the 4th quarter, it seems like everything falls apart. But tonight, of all things, they lost their heads. Robert Williams got in the face of Jimmy Butler for no reason. For no reason. And this is what happened. I'm going to say it right now. The Celtics has themselves to blame for being in this mess that they are in right now. Being down 0-2 in the Eastern Conference Final.
Okay. I'm going to try my best to keep my composure, because right now I am not in a good mood, because this team is just this team, you are at home. You had a chance to close out a Game 2 win tonight, and you I really want to say these words, but I can't. I just simply can't. But they just fell flat on their faces, and as far as I'm concerned, Fletch, the Celtics deserved to lose both of those games, because they couldn't win the 3rd quarter in Game 1, and they friggin' fell flat on their face in the 4th quarter. They lost their damn composure, and another reason, because of Jimmy freaking Butler. But here's another thing. And during the TNT broadcast, we've seen other guys step up, like Bam Adebayo, and of course in Game 1 you also had Max Strus and Kyle Lowry. But who did the commentators all give that love to? Who did they give it to?
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
Would you say, Florio, it's unfair? Because look, you had Adebayo, who was really good. He had a pretty good game, and Caleb Martin as well. But this is all about Jimmy Butler. And I'm not trying to diss the guy. But I don't know what to say. I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble with you guys. So I think I'm just going to mind my P's and Q's on this one. So all in all, we put ourselves in this situation, and they got to win Game 3. I know they're going into Miami, where it's a tough place to play. You know that crowd is going to be all fired up, especially after their team went up 2-0. And if they lose this game, I hate to say this, guys, the brooms may be coming out. Fletch, I mean, you predicted on the TXN Sports World last night that the Miami Heat were going to win the series, and so far, it looks like your prediction may come true. So, we'll see what happens Sunday night. So, the Celtics need to do, well, Florio, you know where I'm going to this. We need to bring in someone to make, well, I think you know where I'm going with this.
2 words. Wake up.
Exactly. Bring Edge in and tell the guys, wake up. That's all I'll say. It's yours, Fletch.
I get the anger and I get where the hostility is going, especially with the Boston Celtics, because I know I kind of did throw and in a way I kind of feel that I kind of restricted you from using certain language, and the thing is that I kind of felt like
one more thing. I apologize for some of the things I said on the messenger with Florio. It's just the anger that was just,
and that's fine. Well, because I didn't see any of it on it. But I do know that you were about to go on a major tirade and everything else. I just wanted it to make sure that if you wanted it to go on a rant, that was fine. But I was just saying that I wanted it to, because certain rants, I just don't want to offend certain areas. But
the thing is, Fletch, I did, even during our recaps of the wrestling shows, I did have time to cool off, so that's why I didn't go off the way you were expecting it to.
So, yeah, and that's cool. I appreciate it. And
so, for those who were expecting a rant, you didn't get it tonight, because, as you said before, Fletch, we're going to take the high road, and I decided to take the high road on this one.
All right. That's good. That's good for you. Absolutely. So
am I upset? Yes, I am.
Yeah. You have every right to be upset.
But I'm going to take the high road on this one, because I'm a gentleman and I am not going to sink low to like someone else. So that's all I'll say on that.
All right.
I'm too kind to be like this. Am I upset? Yes, I am. But am I going to go off the rails on this? Absolutely not. Because I have respect for the viewers, for the fans, and most importantly, for you two guys.
And we appreciate it. We absolutely appreciate that.
I'm glad I got through to you. I'm glad I got through to him.
Yeah, because I was going to say this, and we've seen how and let's be realistic. And let me just voice a few things. Boston has played good, not great. The thing is that they go in these spurts where they drop the hammer on a team, but then they ease off the gas, and when they ease off the gas, they ease it full stop. Now, is there a lack of commitment by the team? Is there a lack of desperation from a team? Now, there might be some things going on. And one of my colleagues in the 2184 crew voiced his displeasure about the Celtics and said something that almost had me thinking. Joe Mazzulla might have just lost the players. With his antics, with the attitude, is it possible that Joe Mazzulla might have just lost the locker room? And maybe the players are just not playing for Joe Mazzulla anymore, that they're playing for themselves? I mean, that's something that I know I might have just opened a Pandora's box. But here's the thing. Think about with the Boston Bruins, with Bruce Cassidy, and the story I told you about a year ago. Why this might have led to a firing. Something like this I don't know, guys. Could this happen again? Could Joe Mazzulla, if they get swept, could he be on the way out of Boston? I'm just saying. I don't want to put that there because, hey, wait a minute. The series is not over. But it needs to be in the back of the minds of all the viewers out here tonight. And I just want you guys to know that there was an incident where Joe Mazzulla was so mad at the team for their lack of defensive effort that he literally threw the clipboard down in disgust and got into the guys. Got into them for it. Is it just the point where the Celtics are like, you know what? Screw you. We're going to do this our way? Well, if that's the case, it's not working right now because you're down 0-2. And like Michael Bullock said, you got to wake up. Because if you don't win literally the next game, bust out the broomsticks, it's over. And this ends in 4. So, we'll see how it plays out. Anthony Florio, it's yours. I mean, like we said, Miami just they're making the right plays at the right moment, and they know how to close the games. Boston's been good, but for some odd reason, they just can't close. It's like getting a great pitcher and then going into that bullpen, and then the bullpen gives it up at the end.
Yeah. I got to tell you, man, I mean, about an hour or so ago, an hour and change ago, Bullock was in full-on Derek Ferreira mode. I got to tell you that right now. I mean, I had to really, really dig down deep and, like in the immortal words of Hulk Hogan from the Mega Power breakup angle, try to talk some sense into him, man. And somehow, some way I was able to. And I'm glad I did. So you certainly can't blame Michael Bullock because, I mean, the Celtics are the only team out of our teams that's even doing anything remote right now, remotely, doing something big right now because, baseball season just started and, both of our hockey teams are gone, the Bruins and the Rangers. And we were hoping to have another fun run with the Celtics like we did a year ago. And it's not looking good right now, man. I mean, if I had to put a headline for tonight's game 2, it would simply be Game of Runs. Because first the Miami Heat went on a big run, then the Celtics went on a big run, then the Heat went on another big run, Celtics went on another big run. I mean, we had runs all over the place here. Third quarter, Boston outscored Miami 33-21. But then in the fourth, Miami outscored Boston 36-22. And that was the difference here tonight. A lot of things were the difference here. Yes, Jimmy Butler had his usual 27 points. Bam Adebayo, 22 points and 17 rebounds. He was 1 assist shy of a triple-double tonight, man. 22 points, 17 rebounds, 9 assists from Bam Adebayo. But to me, yes, the love may be all about Jimmy Butler, and I get that. But where's the love for Caleb Martin, man? Caleb Martin had the game of his life tonight off the bench. I think Caleb Martin is the reason why the Miami Heat are up 2-0 in this series. 25 points, including he was 11 of 16 from the floor and 3 of 7 from 3. And then Duncan Robinson, 15, also a solid game off the bench. He had 15 off the bench for Miami. The Heat bench was the difference. Martin and Robinson combining for 40 points off the bench. Without that, Boston wins this thing going away. But it is what it is. Jason Tatum was 2 assists shy of a triple-double himself. He had 34 points and 13 rebounds and 8 assists. Great effort from Tatum. Jaylen Brown, 16. Malcolm Brogdon had 13. Derek White had 11. And that was it. And that was pretty much it, man. Looking at the numbers, both teams shot pretty decent, shot very well from the field. Boston about 47% from the field, Miami about 46%. The 3-point shooting, though. Miami 9 of 26 for about 35%. Boston 10 of 35 for about 29%. Free throw line, Miami only missed one free throw, 18 of 19, 95%. Boston 21 out of 24, about 88%. 45-35 on the rebounding edge. 11-6 offensive for Miami, 34-29 for Miami, 45-35 overall. 23-22 the assists in favor of Miami. Steals, a big difference. 9 steals for the Miami Heat, only 2 for the Celtics. Celtics had 9 blocks, though, to go to Miami's 5. Heat committed 11 turnovers. Celtics committed 15, had 15 turnovers. And then from there, Boston outscored Miami 20-17 in points off turnovers. Boston outscored Miami 15-4 in fast break points. Both teams had 48 points in the paint each. 17 fouls committed by Miami, 20 fouls committed by Boston. Both teams committed a technical foul. Miami's largest lead was 8. Boston's largest lead was 12. Unfortunately, it looked like the Celtics might have taken their foot off the gas at the wrong time. And I'll tell you what, MF, this is news to me about the Joe Mazzulla thing. I had no idea there was dissension among the ranks there. If that's true, then the Celtics are doomed. That's all there is to it. And the Miami Heat are gonna make this look too easy, and they're gonna cakewalk into the NBA Finals. So, but the thing is, the Celtics were a much better road team than home team in last year's playoffs, and same can be said this year. Boston's had some big wins on the road in these playoffs already, including that big road win to stay alive against Philadelphia about a week ago. So they got these games on the road here. They usually it seems like they play better on the road than they do at home in the playoffs last year and this year. So I'm going to make a bold prediction right here and now. I think the Celtics are going to come to play in Game 3 Sunday night, and they damn sure better come to play. Because if they go down 0-3, this thing's over. They're not going to pull an 0-4 Boston Red Sox. They're not against this team, and especially, and then you'd have to win 2 games in Miami. Yeah, good luck with that. So,
and on top of that, what makes this even worse, Miami is undefeated. They have not lost at home. Actually, no, wait. They did lose at home once. The playing game. They lost the playing game at home. But other than that, they have not lost in, I guess you could say, technically the NBA playoffs, because I don't know if you're going to count the play-in. But if you do, fine, you can add it and say that they only lost once. But other than that, that's been their only loss in the postseason up to this point. Just that one playing game, because they've won every other.
And that's what makes this an even more uphill battle for the Boston Celtics here. You know what I always say. I rallied. I believed. I was the one who believed in this team against Philadelphia, and they came back and won. So I know this is an even bigger uphill battle than Philly was, but I'm not giving up on this team. I'm not. I know there are some who are ready to throw the towel in, but you know what I always say? Keep the faith. They're coming to play. I believe they will come to play in Game 3 Sunday night. And, we'll let the chips fall where they may. And we'll have the Game 3 Celtics chat Monday night as part of Ridiculously Raw. So, So there isn't, I don't know what else there is to say except for the Celtics. Very simply put, like Edge said to John Cena on that Monday Night Raw back in 2012, wake up. Or in our case, wake the F up. Because if you don't, the Miami Heat are going to have a literal cakewalk into the NBA Finals. And I'll tell you something right now, MF. It doesn't matter if it's Denver or the Lakers. If Miami goes to the finals, they're winning the damn thing. Simple. They're winning the damn thing. I believe it. And I think right now, Eric Spoelstra is doing his personal best coaching job yet. Even better than when he had the big 3 of LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh. So he keeps doing what he's doing. this will forever go. If the Miami Heat go all the way and win this thing, which at the rate they're going to, this will forever go down as the greatest coaching job of Eric Spoelstra yet. You may as well give him a key to the damn city. That's all there is to say because of what he has done. He's pushing all the right buttons, and Joe Mazzulla losing his team, pushing the wrong buttons. Recipe for disaster. So, So with that, Celtics wake up. They're coming to play in Game 3. Celtics fans, I know it looks bleak right now, but RELAX. They're not dead yet. MF, I know you picked Miami to win this series, and I don't blame you for doing so, but I'm not giving up on this team. However, if they do go down 0-3, then I'm throwing the towel in. So, but I'm not giving up hope yet. Keep the faith, my friends. Keep the faith. MF, take it home.
All right, we will indeed take it home. So thank you so much, as always, for watching the show, following it. It's been a true awesome night, to say the very least, and much love to you guys for doing what you guys do. So you guys are the greatest fans in the world. You guys already know that. We love you. Thank you, as always. Now, tomorrow on Monday night, we do it all over again. Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. As it was gonna be, we got ourselves quite a show this week, guys. So, Raw, of course, NXT Level Up.
Well, actually,
Impact.
no. Special Tony's take. I'm going to be previewing the Impact Under Siege special that goes down next week. I'll be giving you the full card for that.
Oh, okay. Stand corrected.
And then the Game 3 edition of the Celtics chat, provided Bullock's.
And then Game 3 of the Celtics chat. I'm pretty sure Bullock will be. Then after that, on Wednesday, it's Wednesday Night Madness, AEW, and NXT. And yes, that's probably right around Game 4. So we'll have Game 4 there for you guys. Thursday is TXN Sports World. Boy, man, I didn't want to do it, but we're going to have to start out with this one hurts.
Yeah.
We had some real bad news that just came out of the NFL world. We lost a legend, guys, an icon of the game.
An ambassador as well.
An ambassador. And so we're going to pay our tribute and our respects to that particular individual. We also got
Week 7.
Week 7
of the USFL.
USFL, and maybe
Game 5. Should there be a Game 5?
Yeah. Game 5 of the Celtics chat, and maybe if everything goes the way it goes, if we get a double sweep, do we get our first look and our first thoughts of possibly the NBA Finals?
Possibly. But it's far from
I know,
over.
not out of the realm of possibility. You know, a few things have to happen in order for us to do it, but, you know, it is something that we just need to think about. So, if we do, then we'll go there. If we don't, then we'll wait. But then, after that, then 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again with the Cerebral Smack Talk. And this was going to be a loaded show.
Big time.
Obviously, with Smackdown, we also got AEW Rampage. Then 2 previews. You heard me. Not 1, but 3.
Night of Champions.
Yep.
AEW.
Oh, that's right. So Night of Champions, NXT Roadblock. Oh, well, no. NXT Battleground. And then Double or Nothing. So, yeah, there's 3. So, oh, boy. I mean, this is going to be wild. So, guys, you're going to have to burn the midnight oil on that one. That might be a 2-hour plus show. I'm telling you right now. We might be working that for 2 hours. That might be 2 hours plus. So, just be prepared for that one. So, yeah, nothing more to say. So, for Anthony Florio and in spirit, Michael Bullock, I am Michael Fletcher, saying thank you so much as always, guys. Have a great night, and we will see you on Monday when we do it all over again for Ridiculously Raw. So long, everybody.